Hello again, everyone. Welcome back. Good to see so many of you have joined me early in the chat. Before I continue, can we just make sure that I have audio? And you should be hearing that pretty soon on your side. So I'll just wait a little bit for people to join. Wendy, I'm so glad that you're able to join today. Leanne, Mindy, of course, and all of you who regularly come. I'm just so excited to see you all again. I have my laptop again on the side, so I'm just checking to make sure. Thank you, Leanne. Okay, great. Well, welcome back to my channel. My name's Jaycee. I'm a full-time scientist, part-time content creator, and card maker. And I've gotten a lot of feedback over on my blog about a recent release from Altenew for September 2025. And I don't have the cards anymore. I had to send them over to the Altenew warehouse. But seems a little quiet though. Okay, I think it's because it's kind of far from where it's at. Let me just turn it up on my side just to see what it sounds like. I don't have the cards. Yeah, I think now that I pulled it forward, I think it's a little bit better. But let me know, hopefully. I'll try to project too. I'm just really tired today. I didn't sleep good last night, so but I really wanted to go live today. I've been really looking forward to it after work, because it has just been a week at work. So anyway, let's see, it's 7:33. I'll let people trickle in, and of course, you know, I've got a few announcements to make. Just first of all, I won't be in town next week, so there's no live next week. I know I do have a scheduled live with Altenew on October 22nd. Again, that's Wednesday at this time, 7:30 Mountain Time. So look for the announcement for that. And of course, Altenew's pretty generous with discount codes that they let me use during the live stream. So hopefully you all are able to get that deal when that comes. And usually, you know, these deals you don't have to catch during the live stream, so you can redeem any sort of discount even a few days after the live, because I know this is a strange time to go live in the stateside. I know many of you end up joining from Australia, which I think it's so exciting to have viewers overseas. So did I design the picture on my shirt? No, my mom got it for me from the Philippines. So here, let me step back a little bit. I love cats, so my mom knows. So yeah. So let's just throw in some housekeeping things real quick. So it's funny because Mindy's in the chat right now, but I think today might be the last day, or it's we have a few more days left for the early bird discount. So that's the EB Moments 2 is the early bird discount. Oh, and I've got it linked in the description as well. The direct link over to this class. So Bridget, of course, she's my dynamic duo. If you catch any of our like Altenew sponsored lives, or anytime I go live with her during class, like we're pretty well together. It's so fun. Liz Ortiz, she's supported me from the very beginning, and I think I remember reading in the description that this is her first time teaching with Altenew Academy. So, you know, I'd appreciate if you could pay it forward for me. If you do register for class, you know, Elizabeth Ortiz, she's from the beginning of my Altenew journey. So that's like 2019. She's always been around for me. And then, of course, Mindy, in the chat, we've shared many alcoholic beverages. And we've just had many such good times together whenever we've taught over with Concord and Ninth. And yeah, just good people. I'm really excited for this class. I taught the heartfelt moments with Bridget in a previous session. I did the live session on that one, so I'm glad to see that Mindy's doing it with this Heartfelt Moments cards for comfort and gratitude. And you do get an early bird discount for the class kit and the class pass. So you'll just use this discount code there. Glad to hear that you signed up, Leanne. And of course, hey, Rosie, thank you so much for helping me out with the live today. Oh, yes, Mindy. No, seriously, great people here. I'm such big fans of them. And I hope that you get an opportunity to sign up with their class. Oh, yeah. I'm glad to see that there's a lot of love for these folks over in the chat, because they're fun people. And then the other thing that I wanted to throw out is the Altenew warehouse sale. So that started today and it'll go until Friday. I took a look at the products myself, and honestly, I was pretty excited to see things like the stamp. Oh, you can see some of them pictured over on this side here. But things like the 9x12 sticky mat grid, which I'll use today, the Altenew Stampwheel 2.0, Obsidian Pigment Ink. There were so many tools that I was shocked to see on the warehouse sale. So if you've been eyeing a lot of the Altenew tools and anything like the stamps and dies, of course, now's a good time to see if you've got a good discount, good discount on it, up to 60% off on that. And then in addition to that, you do get the 4.5 by 6-inch storage pocket set, and I think this goes into your cart automatically if you spend over $79. So you can see that it fits a 4.25 by 5.5-inch card perfectly in here. It's made to be a protective sleeve for the Mini Delights and their coordinating die set, stamp set and die set, but it also fits works in progress as well into your little sleeves here. So yeah, let me just look through the chat here. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Yeah, my Australian folks, this is a great time for you. Stateside over on the Pacific side, I know that it's later. It's like 6 p.m., but East Coast, like, it's late. It's late. So let's see what else is going on. Okay. So again, Heartfelt Moments class. I've got that linked, and then I've got a direct link in the description box as well for the warehouse sale. Let's take a look. How many folks have joined me today? So 25. I love that. And again, I'm just so grateful for the support for these live sessions, because I do them for fun. Yeah, Sydney, now's a great time. 60% off, free gift. Oh, and then you can use them together. Like this is, if you use this discount code to sign up for your class and the class kit, then you know, you get the free sleeves, you know, if you combine it all together. Does it make sense? I'm making sense in my own head. I'm like doing the mental math and like looking at the cart and all the things I want in my shopping cart. So, oh, Susan, yeah. I could see, honestly, I could see with the warehouse sale, because there's quite a lot in here. The stamp wheel, like I mentioned, the shimmer relief paste, the dual, the brush and fine tip pens, the Hawaiian Shores is what's pictured over on this side. A lot of great stuff. Scoring board. So yeah, I wouldn't miss out. Now's a good time to do so. So anyway, let's see, 7:39. I was just kind of try to let people trickle in for the first 10 minutes. But let's talk about the card that we're making today. I got a lot of feedback over on my blog for the Build a Garden Pansies card that I made. I don't have the card anymore. But I was asked to recreate it, and I do listen to your feedback whenever you message me on my form that I have on my blog, or if you DM me on Instagram. I do try to take a look at these things as I create, because yeah, it's always good to get ideas for what to go with to go on the live stream. So I'll walk you through my card process, and hopefully I'll take about an hour and a half of your time. So we'll end about 9 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time. So yeah, let's get started. Let me just move my mouse over real quick. Alrighty. So first of all, with the Build a Garden set, let me just grab it real quick. This was the September 2025 Build a Garden. This is Build a Garden Fanciful Pansies. In this bundle and the subscription set is the stamp set, the coordinating layering stencil, and this one does have the die set included. Sometimes you get the add-on die. It just depends. I'm assuming on the size of the Build a Garden set, but I'm glad to see that this one actually did come with the die set. You didn't have to add it onto your bundle. So Pansies, I recently posted the perfect pairing using Build a Garden Fanciful Pansies on my YouTube channel. It was on the Altenew channel previously, and I was thinking in this card I was more focused on the idea of what pansy means, right? It's a French term. The infinitive form is penser, P-E-N-S-E-R, and it just means to think, like just in general, to think of someone, to think of something. So then, you know, you stem from the word Pansy, Pansy. So they're great for cards for remembrance or for thinking of somebody. And in my garden, like, it started to cool down a little bit. Thank goodness, because, you know, during my lives, you know, I've been complaining that it's been so hot in here. And while it's still very hot, it's not as hot as it was a few weeks ago. But yeah, I'm glad to see these pansies back, and I wanted to introduce like a more fall palette when using these cards. But for the card sample that I made for Altenew, and that you can see on my blog and also on the product listing in the description for Build a Garden Fanciful Pansies, I used like a galactic sort of color palette. And the way I got there was just really simple color wheel stuff. So here's my little color wheel that I got from the Glamazon. And all I really looked at were these 5 colors here. These are all analogous colors. They're right next to each other. So blue, green, blue, blue, violet, violet, and red, violet, and some sort of variation and iteration of these colors is what I used for the card. So I let the color wheel do the work for me, and all I had to do was color match based on reference photos that I found online to get some ideas. But generally, you know, I use my Altenew swatch book, and a lot of you have asked me about this swatch book. It's not an Altenew product, it's something that I made myself. I forget the name of the size of this sort of binder. I have 2 of them because not all of the Altenew inks fit in here, and I don't want to open this because I've accidentally shown colors that are not out yet. Let me just make sure that I don't show you something I'm not supposed to. Like this color. So I actually used Rose Petal in this card, I think, but I like to do this sort of swatch book because, okay, let me just be careful real quick, because I like the color to run off the edge of the page so that I can hold it up to some sort of reference color. So like what I'm trying to do right now is magenta and this red violet swatch on here, and that's how I color match to color inspiration palettes that I find online, or if I'm looking at reference photos on my phone. But this is why I made this swatch book. It just works for me. I encourage you to look at what works for you. And I know many people provide free resources for things like this, but yeah, that's my swatch book. This is the color palette that I was working with. So enough about that. Let's see. Looks like 31 folks have joined. Thank you so much. And I'm gonna try to keep track of the chat and make sure that, okay, sorry, we were going out of focus. Sorry for all of you who are watching, and hopefully it didn't. Is that ink swatching the colors? Yep, that's right, Linda. Yeah, so those were the ink colors, the fresh dye ink colors. And that color swatch book is just for my inks. I have a D-ring with the cardstocks on them. So, okay. All right. Sorry, just reading through the chat real quick. So with the Build a Garden Fanciful Pansies die set, I already cut out a few items and stamped a few things ahead of time, just so you don't have to watch me die cut off camera. And on this tray, I will get, I die cut 2 pieces of the positive silhouette of the floral cluster, of the pansy cluster. And I also kept the negative die cut just for easy alignment for this next step. I also have a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch white card base in here. And I also die cut 3 of the offset sentiments that coordinate with the Wishing You a Day Full of Smiles sentiment. And you'll see the inks that I used in just a second. Alrighty. So in my stamp wheel, I'm just going to grab the original size, because all I'm doing is stamping the outline image. With these finer die cuts, I just feel like using the negative piece helps ensure that my pieces stay together, or that I've got the right shape to the outline. So, and since I'm stamping this image twice. It's just going to help make things go faster for me. Yeah, definitely. And if you don't know what, if you've just joined and you haven't seen what Aaron is talking about, I like to do my ink swatches off the page so I can hold them up. And oh, and the point is that I know I got a good color match because then the line of the edge of the color and the color that I'm trying to reference disappears, right? There's no border, I guess, of the color. I wonder if I can just quickly. Well, I guess we know what this color is. So this is, what cardstock is this? Misty Moore, okay. Misty Moore is in my yellow-green tab. So as I hold this swatch up to the cardstock, that's not a good example, sorry. Let me just get the cardstock itself. So if I'm trying to color match this cardstock and I'm not sure what color it is, for example, I can just hold it up to my swatch. And then wherever this, like, I'm kind of just watching for the edge of that cardstock to disappear in view, you know, so that I know I get a good color match. And as I color match, this is what I'm doing is like I'm trying to really scrutinize and make sure that I'm close enough to the ink swatch. And that's why I do it this way. I know some people do like the coin sleeves and then there's a circle in the center. If it works great for you, that's awesome, but I was really persnickety about like getting the exact color for color palettes that I was finding online, which is why I decided to do it this way. So good points. I appreciate the feedback, everyone. Thank you for joining me, Miss Dana, and all of you who are quickly joining. There are so many of you. I'm just so shocked as always. So oh, looks like the ink swatches are done with sticker labels, or did you actually do ink onto the paper? Yeah, so like I use my Cricut to like make a template, and I used Adobe Illustrator as well because I subscribe to it. So I made my own like file for the ink swatches, but then I printed and labeled everything, but it's not necessarily a label. I used my Cricut to make the shape of the file so that it fits within the binder, and I used my caliper to make sure that the binder holes were all the same. So yeah, and that's great if you can eyeball it. I really commend you because like I guess I just don't have that feel for exact color, but here we go. What I'm doing is aligning the outline of the stamp to my die cut shape, and you can do this in the reverse order. I've kind of enjoyed doing it this way, where I stamp where I die cut the silhouette shape first, and then I align the stamp to the positive piece and lay the negative piece around it, just so that everything is stable. And if I ever have to do it multiple times, then I'm all prepped to do so. So okay, I think that looks good. And if it's not, then I have a backup. And one of the first colors I used, this is the Aqua Island ink family that I have off to the side here. I used, instead of a black ink, I used Teal Tempest. And I just really wanted to give that no outline look, but still have that watercolor feel. And sometimes it's just nice to stamp your outlines in a non-black ink. I think it just gives just a little bit more of a playful look, and it doesn't seem so structured. It just feels a little bit more artful and artistic. Again, this is Teal Tempest. And hopefully I remembered, I tried to run through the process of making this card in my head. So hopefully I've linked to everything in the description box. If you're missing things in your stash, maybe they might be in the warehouse sale, so maybe now's a good time. Hello, hello, everyone. Oh my goodness, now there's 41 people watching. I'm gonna start sweating even more. There's so many people. But I appreciate you all joining me, as always. So that I'm not just talking to the air. Almost there, oops. That's good, we'll see what happens there. So then, because I know I'm going to use 2 clusters in here, all I have to do is remove the positive piece. I'm using my fine tip tweezers. I know Mindy's a big fan of these. We talked about it during the summer camp in Concord and 9th, so I know she's a big fan of these, as am I. Like, you need them. And then again, I'll pop in the next positive piece into the negative outline. My stamp is already positioned in here. So all I have to do is re-ink the stamp. Oh, I'm getting hot again already. So I rewatched part of my live last time, and I had my fan up really loud, and I didn't realize, like, if I had my audio up on my TV, I could really hear the hum of the fan in the background. So I tried to turn it down this time, but at the risk of my body temperature. So let's just do one more time. Yeah, let's do one more time. Just right here in the center. There we go. Okay, much better. Let me clean off my stamp real quick. Again, that was Teal Tempest from the Aqua Island family of fresh dye inks. I'm not going to put them away. I'm actually going to use them to fill in some of the other elements on this card. And as I'm thinking about this, I actually think I forgot to link the yellow color I used, but I'll just tell you all about it. Let me just return that. I appreciate it, Rosie, because yeah, it's so hot. It's so hot in here. So now I don't need the negative piece. You know, if you've got the Altenew sleeves, you can always store this piece, but if you're going to have to die cut another piece anyway, you'll always be ready to realign your positive piece. So it's up to you if you want to keep this piece. But I did like stamp and die cut pieces of the sentiment from this negative piece, so I wasn't wasting anything. But for now, I don't need this, so I'm going to just get rid of it. And then we can start ink blending and working on that color complement that I showed you with my color wheel. Aqua Island. And just in case I have to reference the color layering schematic on the inside, it is always on the inside of the product trifold. So I always work in chronological order for the most part anyway. So stencil layer number 1 all the way to number 4. And then you can see what colors you need to fill in to complete the image. And here's the completed image example on this side. So just in case I need that, I'm just going to leave the stamp set out, but off to the side here. And if for some reason you lose this, it's also online. Here's the stencil set, Build a Garden, Fanciful Pansies Layering Stencil. And like I mentioned, I'll work on stencil layer number 1 first, just this one. Throw this on my 9x12 sticky mat grid. And I'm going to ink up these images in relatively the same but not exact fashion. I want some variation throughout the bouquet. Actually, let me just space these out farther apart. Yeah, I'm getting ads during this. I did try turning on certain settings on here, so we'll see how that works. This is my first time trying to do I'm trying to do that. I'm just trying to see how that works. So let's see. So I've got layering stencil number 1, and on the top half of this is the open areas to the petals. And as I always do, I work from lightest to darkest value. And I'm going to use a little bit of Altenew satin masking tape just to ensure I don't grab some of these open areas, especially, you know, during these live sessions, anything is bound to happen. There we go. Okay. So, you know what, actually look at my reference image real quick, because I don't remember what I started with. Again, because I don't have the card anymore and I kind of made it on a whim. Alrighty. So it looks like I started with a base of like rose quartz. So I'll grab that fresh dye ink and a mini ink blending tool. And I left the center of the flower uncolored, so I'm doing a light halo around the outside, leaving that center sort of uncolored for that little glow. I'll do this for the side-facing pansy. And also this top one. This is rose quartz from Rose Petal. I don't know if I said that. Sorry about that, y'all. Okay. I feel like I want it a little bit deeper. So I'm going to spot color. Oh my goodness. Just going to move down the line the values of inks. This is Puffy Heart, again, still in Rose Petal. I'm just gonna, wherever two petals meet, just apply a slight shadow between the two. Same with the side-facing one. Okay. Since I already have these bottom portions masked off, I can just easily remove the stencil and move on to the duplicate image. And since I have everything like in relatively the same orientation, it's just easy to realign. So again, just from the edge, blending that in. This is rose quartz. There we go. Same deal with Puffy Heart. Sometimes I like to stamp the outlines in like a cool brown. So what color family is that from Altenew? I think like Sand Dunes, Rocky Shore, Mocha, Espresso, like that's another, oh sorry, that's the wrong one. It's actually vanilla cream, hazelnut, almond butter, and milk chocolate. I think that's like a really nice outliner family of inks to stamp an outline for. And if you don't want something like quite as stark as a black outline, you know, just give that a try with your ink blending, and yeah, you'll still get stunning results. So yeah, that was rose quartz and puffy heart. So now the second image to the stencil is actually on the other side, this area that I masked off down here. So I can just reuse the tape. I don't think I got too much ink on it. And quickly align this detail layer. Mask off those open areas that are kind of close. Just like that. And for this one, I started to move into the blues. So then I grabbed turquoise. This is from Deep Blue Seas. Again, where's my color wheel? So I'm working now in this motion. So I did like a red violet with rose petal. Now I'm sort of pushing towards blue to get a nice color mix. And with this one, same deal, working from the outside in, leaving the center with a slight halo of white. And I'm not filling in all of the petals on this detail layer, right? I just want to capture some of these like detailed elements, so those like serrated details, like here, here. So a lot of that cardstock from underneath is going to peep through. Oops, I lost my chat here. Okay. So yeah, it's like kind of like painting. When you pick analogous colors, like I feel like you really can't go wrong with the order that you go in, the placement of where you put these colors. And it's always just a nice surprise once you reveal the stencil to see what you get. And I always encourage you, like if it doesn't look right, try to keep going and at least finish the layers. I think you'll be surprised by the end result of what you get. So that's the first iteration. Here's the second one. So again, I'm just going to work in turquoise for now on this layer. And again, I'm not doing it like exactly the same. And you know what? Maybe on this one... Ooh, sorry, I missed a lot of the chat. Reading with astigmatism especially. Cotton candy petals. You know, I was kind of thinking the same thing. Oh, wow. For me, it's a little late for cotton candy. For this iteration, I'm just going to grab the next value of ink in Deep Blue Seas, so that's Tide Blue. The next mini ink blending tool, and I just want to slightly deepen some areas. So that there's variation between these two petals, or sorry, these two pansy clusters. It's not going to look like enough, but I feel like it's, or it's not going to look like a lot, but I feel like it's going to be enough to, you know, set these two images apart so they don't look like repetitive images throughout the card. So there's that. Okay, so that finishes layer number 1, or stencil number 1. Where are we at? 8:07. I really appreciate you all joining me again. Hoping to take another hour to finish this card. It might be a little bit less. Again, I'm so tired. It's State Fair season, so good time for cotton candy. That's true. That's so true. I haven't had it in so long. Maybe I'm of that age, but like there was a, I don't know if they still sell it anymore. They had that bagged cotton candy. Too sweet. It was too sweet for me. I wonder if I don't know if they still sell it. Anyway, since we're on the topic of cotton candy. Where's the next one? Okay, so there are detail layers to the stencil on the very last set, so we're not quite done with this yet. But now we're going to start filling in the leaves. Oops, takes a little bit of maneuvering because this is quite a large cluster. But you'll know when you get it. There we go. Easy, easy. Oh, it was the yellow in here. I don't remember what I used on the original card. Let me just take a look at it. I might have grabbed, we'll just say it was mid-yellow, because I don't remember. It looks like a really bright yellow on the card example. Mid-yellow is from Art Deco. Deco Garden, sorry, not Art Deco. Deco Garden Fresh Dye ink set. So just swipe that real quick. And then for the leaves, I noticed in my garden and maybe on some reference images that these pansies have like a blue-green shift. Maybe it's like that sort of illusion because of color complement and the colors around it. But incidentally, you know, they were right next to each other on the color wheel when I did all 5 of these analogous colors. So I felt like blue-green was the appropriate leaf color to use on this because it would be like the most visually appealing. So what am I doing? Oh, ink blending. Let me use the large ink blending tool. This is the lightest value of ink in Aqua Island. And I'm creating a gradient from the bottom up to the top. I think there are 3 detail layers to this cluster of images. So I'm going to use mint chalk as well as pool, the next darkest color in the set, to create a gradient on here. Again, mint chalk at the base of leaves. I'm working pool in, leaving mint chalk to show through. You know, I've seen those at the store. I haven't had them myself. The cotton candy flavored grapes. Seems like there's mixed reviews on it in the chat. All right, so mint chalk pool. Then again, just as before, just move this stencil over to the next image. This is again stencil layer number 2, but this is probably what, the 3rd layer of ink that we've applied for Fanciful Pansies. There it is. Mid-yellow again. Deco Garden Fresh Dye ink family. Here's that wash of mint chalk, sorry, very bad at enunciating today. Good enough, and then pool. Alrighty. So that's stencil layer number 2. Put that away. Again, in order, here's layer number 3. Looks like we're going to be filling in a little bit more of the detail layers of the leaves and stems in Build a Garden Fanciful Pansies. I'm like trying my best not to put my head in the camera, but I think I'm just gonna have to. I can't quite see it with the camera. Oh, almost. Ooh, okay, we got it. Alright, so moving down the line of inks, don't need these two anymore. This is Mystic Lake again. Aqua Island. I'll grab the next value of ink, which is going to be Mystic Lake. Really deepen some of these shadow areas, fill in the stems. You'll see I'll still leave a lot of the cardstock underneath, just peeping through for the areas that I already colored. I just like a soft gradient for this card. I feel like it really lends to the jewel tone feeling of this whole arrangement. And with the large ink blending tool, it should just work up really fast. Or sorry, with the ink blending tools, it should work up really fast. Come on. Almost. Whew, there we go. You always have. Well, I'm glad that that's the case. I try to shower. But I swear, after these lives, I feel like I have to go to the shower again because it's like, it gets so hot. We'll see how it is in winter. I wonder if it's just the lights, you know, that shine during these recording sessions, but yeah. And I'm a night shower. I don't know about y'all, but after being in the lab all day, I feel like I can't shower in the morning because then I filth myself like in the laboratory and then I get into my bed, you know, so I just night shower. So definitely still have to do that. Anyway, now you know. Stencil layer number 4. We have a few of the detail images and openings for the petals. Before I do that, I'll just work in the leaves, the last bit of the leaves first. And I'll use Teal Tempest. This is the darkest value ink in Aqua Island. Another mini ink blending tool. And this is the same ink that I used to stamp the sentiment that I already die cut. And it's also what I used to stamp the outline. So I'm being a little bit, I'm applying a lighter layer of this on the stencil because I don't want to lose my outline and the definition in some of these deeper areas. Oh, what am I doing? Let me just remove this, switch it over to this side so I don't transfer that ink. Okay, and then we're going to, I feel like this is where I really switched up the application of the ink to add in more details to this. So I am going to grab both of the darkest value of inks from Rose Petal. So that's, oh my goodness, Jaycee. Sorry, that's Cosmic Berry and Starlight. Just to really add some frilly and feathery details to this. I'm going to grab 2 of the detailed blending brushes. I have the number 5 size just because it was right on top. So there we go. Sorry, y'all. Cosmic Berry, Starlight. So with this, I'll like paint in some of these areas. Especially where petals meet other ones, or so, gosh goodness, where petals are next to each other. So that's a little bit of Cosmic Berry. I'll use a little bit of Starlight in some areas. And again, since we're working with analogous colors, you really can't go wrong. This is really, I feel like, the therapeutic part of this ink blending, because yeah, you just kind of see where it takes you. A little bit of Starlight, and I'm working off the edge of the stencil, blending that ink color in towards the center. Maybe a little bit here. Just pull that off, and if I don't like it, then I can always put the stencil back on. But yeah, just a little bit of, you know, textural difference, I guess. Like, I didn't want it to be so smooth, the blending between all the petals. I wanted some variation in there. Oh my goodness, where did my tag go? Okay, there we go. Whew. Sorry. Wendy, I don't know if I can share that yet. I do have things on my agenda coming up in the next few months, but yeah, be on the lookout. I do have things planned for the remainder of the year and also into next year. So yeah. I look like a doctor. I'm not a doctor. I'm a laboratory specialist, so I appreciate that. Let's see. Okay, next image. I don't feel like moving my tape yet, so I'll just work on the open areas of the petals. Again, just painting those in. I can kind of see where I already applied Starlight on the previous image, so I can switch it up, make sure I'm not applying that ink in the same areas. And I'll pick up a little bit of the previous ink on the way, that's all right. It's fun to get interesting mixes of these colors. Alrighty, oh, almost done. Just need the leaf layers. So I'll just switch this around, cover up the open areas of the petals. And then the last color, oops, is Teal Tempest. And then we will be done ink blending for Build a Garden Fanciful Pansies. And the thing about, you know, whenever I make my floral arrangements is that this is actually the easier part, is picking the colors, setting the mood, trying to color match. Like, I feel like those things are come pretty naturally. Maybe because I have a lot of reference images. Some of these flowers from Altenew I end up having in my garden, so I'm instantly inspired once I know that they're out or that they've become products with Altenew. Oh, so yeah, there's the reveal of those two. I can just put this off to the side. And now, this is the part that takes forever. I'm going to have to reference the card I originally made, otherwise we'll be here forever seeing how to arrange these flowers. So anyway, let me get these off the sticky mat grid. And I don't know about y'all, I know some people are, I don't know the word, like, I know some people like to leave the cluster as is and you don't like to modify it. That's totally fine. However, you know, just like any sort of flower arrangement, like you just have to cut pieces, right? And I really like to experiment and manipulate bouquets so that, you know, I can either fit many clusters in there or create different shapes. So I'm looking off to the side to see how I did this. Again, like, this is the part that takes me the longest, like the longest to do. It looks like I did something like that. Is that right? Okay, yeah. That's where this comes in. So I'm just going to temporarily stick this down to my Altenew crafting mat just so I have the alignment of the grid on here. And I hope it doesn't go too much in and out of focus. I haven't figured out how to lock that in yet with this camera. I think I had something like that. Yeah. I'm just grabbing my comfy cut blade and a ruler. And I just like to work on an old magic mat from scrapbook.com that has definitely seen better days. I just don't like cutting on my filming surface. I try to keep it as clean as I can, but you'll see, like, on close-ups of this video that it's not the case, because I use it all the time. Come on. Okay. So that's one side. And then, of course, I always save these pieces to help fill in other areas. And then trim this one down a little bit too. Let's do, how was it? I think it was like this. As I'm cutting these, like, I, experiment a lot with the shape of how these clusters go on my card fronts. And by shape, I mean, sorry, the flow of the images across my card front. So, I kind of want like some sort of movement or line to drift across the card front so that it's not just like spots of flowers here, there, corners, center, whatever. Like I want, to sort of lead and follow the lines like you would like in a botanic garden, right? Like you would admire this cluster, then this cluster, and it's a very nice peaceful transition. So I really think too hard about where I put all of these. But that's just what takes so long for me to do this. So yeah. It looks like, oh, I used part of this image down here. And then this one here. Something like that. Right. I think I rotated this. Maybe I didn't. I don't know. We'll just make it work. I don't need this right now. So then I just started foam mounting things. I'm going to use the thicker foam. This is the 1/8 by 1/8 inch thick by 1/2 inch wide alternate instant dimension foam tape. And I'll just start layering these pieces on the back. And I don't like applying foam tape. This is much less foam tape than I would normally apply, but I do try to leave areas without foam tape because sometimes I like to curl the paper so that it like sticks out of the page more. Oh, sorry, out of the card more. Oof, sorry about that. Little focus problem there. Line this up to the left side of my panel. Just like that. Okay. This one will hang off the bottom here. I might end up cutting these pieces off. And it is what it is. This one I won't use the foam tape with. Just glue it right on top. Yeah. And thank you all for joining me. It's been about an hour since we started, and no worries if you're joining late. I just really appreciate you joining. Yeah, it's always nice to have a little chat just to see what you all are up to. I know it's late over in the States because I work full time, so this is really the only time I can do it during the week, and I usually save the weekends for other card making obligations. So. Yeah. This cluster, I'll put the foam tape on this one as well. So I'm liking it down here, down there. Oh, where am I going to put my sentiment, Jaycee? Come on, there we go. Yeah, like right there. Almost there. And all of this overhang too will end up cutting off. I'm aligning this to now the right side of my A2 panel. This card is slightly different from the one I made on my blog, but maybe I won't use this piece on this version. So let me just get this off real quick. I'm going to trim off the excess from the bottom here. Might use some of these leaf clusters in other parts of the card, we'll see once I get these off. I'm sort of aligning, the edge of the scissors to my panel, and this is how I can ensure that that excess is cut straight. If you have the guillotine trimmer, I think that works much better. I just don't have one. Okay, we're getting some movement. It's feeling good. And again, like this sort of swooping motion, I try to incorporate them, this sort of diagonal layer of flowers as well. These are things I think about as I create these arrangements on my card fronts. It's just a perspective for me. It's like how I like to control the placement of certain elements on my card. Let me just see if I can work in these other leaves. It's not looking like I can or want to, so I might just leave it alone. This is just how it's going to be on this version of this card. So even though I try to recreate the same card, you know, sometimes it just doesn't work out that way. Like the feeling of the card changes for me from time to time. So yeah, never gonna recreate the same one. But this is, I'm just really trying to walk through and talk through the process of creating this, because it was all based on jewel tones and also reference images from pansies that I have in my garden. They're nice cool season flowers, so I am seeing them emerge again over in my area, which is Denver. And now I'm just stacking up and gluing the die cut pieces for the sentiment before I forget to do that. And it'll give it some time to dry as I embellish this bouquet. So I'll just let that rest there. Okay, so the ink that I used to, where is it, Jaycee? Come on. I used iridescent ink spray to splatter onto this card. And I'm going to use my Altenew fine-tipped water brush, of course, like always, to apply this color. I don't like to add the sentiment beforehand, especially if I'm working with jet black ink spray. I feel like it always gets on my sentiment, and then I end up with like dots on there that I don't intend. While I'm doing this, sorry, I'm just looking through the comments here. I really appreciate you all and your kindness throughout this live. And it's so glad, I'm just glad that you all know each other too. I don't know if it's in person or, you know, like some of the people that are here today, like I've met them in person. Very fortunate to meet them in person. Everybody's so fun, so always such a treat. I have nothing bad to say. Come on, almost there. Again, iridescent ink spray. Good stuff. If I don't want like, because I have a lot of the background showing on this card, the white background, I'm not applying so much of I don't want to apply pure white ink spray. Sorry, that's where I was going. To this panel. I just want a slight bit of shine. Again, I feel like it was just lending to that galactical appearance and feeling of this bouquet. And then when I pick up this card, once the iridescent ink spray dries, we'll get a really nice impression on top of these images. I am having a hard time seeing it, probably because of the lights, but it looks like something is happening. Yeah. And I like a lot of splatter, which is why a lot is happening right now. I want some bigger ones, actually. I'm just using the hose from the nozzle to add really big drops on here. I do this every once in a while. I just don't like doing it often because it takes a while to dry. That's all. Alrighty. Oh, there we go. That's so pretty. Okay, last thing before I finish this card, let me get the sentiment on here. I'm liking this. And again, for the placement of my sentiment, I'm thinking of like the movement within this card. So like there's this definite U shape happening with the grouping of the pansies. So I feel like it's appropriate for the sentiment to fit and cradle within this U shape, just like that. I don't know if this is fact right or just like my way of thinking when it comes to these arrangements, but it's sort of what makes sense to me as far as design goes. And maybe that's just my style. I don't know if it's like a real concrete thought about composition, but it's just my thought process as I'm walking through it. Let me add some foam tape to the back of this one. This is the skinnier one, the 1/4 inch by 1/2 inch. Oh my goodness, sorry. It is the 1/4 inch wide by 1/8 inch thick instant dimension foam tape from Altenew. I just don't want to have to cut so many small pieces when gluing down the sentiment. My head's going to get in the way. I'm just trying to make sure that this is perfectly horizontal on here. Right? Is that good? Okay. Last step. So excited. We have about 20 minutes left. So it looks like I won't take up all of your evening for those of you who, in the States. Over in Australia, I think it's midday for you all. Again, I still really appreciate it. I will embellish this card to match the iridescent ink spray. This is clear iridescent Altenew Stellar Sequins. Of course, I thought it was a perfect match to lend to the theme, the galactical feel of this card. Sorry, I was reading your question. When you use the water brush, is there water in it? No. So I have 3 water brushes, the fine tipped water brushes from Altenew, and it might, I just don't put water in it. I use the fine bristles. I think I like the synthetic feeling of it because it springs really nicely. And for me, when I use it with Altenew Jet Black ink spray, pure white ink spray, any of the metallic watercolors, I feel like I get a nice fine array of splatter as opposed to like larger bristles. So no, there is no water in the water brushes. I just use it for the bristles. So hopefully that helps. Give it a try. And oh, I also need my crafty picker, so I'll just get that out real quick. And I'll just start applying sequins. I just recently rebought a bottle of glossy accents. I just feel like I really missed adhering this down with the sequins, sorry, with glossy accents. And I just recently got these needle tip bottles that I could refill myself. And it seems to be working well as far as adhering everything. There are 6 sizes of Altenew sequins in each pack. So I've already applied 6 dots around the arrangement. So then I'll just pick up one of each size. And add them to the glossy accents. Okay. I think that finishes it. Let me just hold this up so that we can see the nice reflection of this. Again, this is Build a Garden Fanciful Pansies. If you have any pressing questions, please let me know in the chat about this card. But otherwise, yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Build a Garden Fanciful Pansies. Again, great set. This is new for September 2025. Somebody had asked how I created the card that I made on my blog post. So I thought I would just share that during the live today. Those of you who are joining late, I did make a few announcements at the beginning. Mindy, who's in the chat, she'll be part of the live session for Heartfelt Moments Cards for Comfort and Gratitude. There is a discount code for the early bird EB Moments 2. You can get $50 off on the class pass and the card making class pass and the kit that comes with this bundle. Again, I'm big fans of the folks that are also in this class, you know, Bridget and I. Craziness, the two of us. But also Liz Ortiz, you know, she's supported me from the beginning, so of course I have to pay it forward to her. She's excellent, comments on every single one of my Instagram posts. And this is her first time teaching with Altenew, so as an educator, she recently completed her educator certification program. So I'd really appreciate it if you support all of these folks in their upcoming class. So that's linked in the description box. There's also a warehouse sale happening over at Altenew. It started today. It'll end on Friday. Many of the things that you saw on today's live, like the tools, the stamp wheel, obsidian pigment ink, if you've really been eyeing these things, like take a look, because I was even surprised to see a lot of these items go for sale and for discount. But yeah, otherwise, that's the card. I appreciate you joining me today. It's always such a treat to have you over in the chat, and hopefully I'll catch you next time. Again, there's no live next week. I won't be in town. I do know I have a planned one on October 22nd. That's, again, Wednesday. It'll be 7:30 Mountain Time. Mountain Daylight Time? Will we be in Savings? Mountain Regular Time? Mountain Standard Time? 7:30. It'll be 7:30 whatever time that is for me. So we'll do the conversion for y'all. And I just really hope you join me during that time. It's the Altenew sponsored live, so they always provide really generous discount codes for all of you who join. Even if you don't catch it live, you can still use the discount code maybe a few days after the live. But anyway, yeah, that's I'll give you back that's about 15 minutes of your evening for those of you who are joining me in the States. Again, I'm hot. I'm gonna go take a shower now and go to bed. So again, thank you so much. Have a good evening, and I'll see you next time. Bye.